Hey guys, how's it going? I want to talk pretty quickly today about the vertical line test and a little more specifically. I know I went over it in the last video, and I'll go over all that stuff again in case you missed it. But I just want to go over more specifically a couple little tricky things you might see. So we've been talking about functions, right? Sorry, functions. Um, and functions were inputs, which we call the domain. Something happened, right? Usually we kind of liken it to like there's a box and there's addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. And then there were outputs that came out, right? We call them f of x's, and those were your y values, right? And those are your outputs. And we called that the range last week, okay? So all your x's that you could put in were your domain, all your y's or f of x's that you got out were your range. And there's a pretty simple, straightforward rule that has to do with functions. And that's for every x that I put in, you have two options. So every x that you put into the function box, you have two options. You can have no answers, or you can have one answer. Okay? So what does that translate to on the graph? Well, if you have no answer, there's no point. Right? There is no x, f of x, or xy coordinate. And if you have one answer, there is 1 point. Okay? So again, what does this come down to is if you plug in an x and you get out no point, that's okay. If you plug in an x and you get out an answer, that's fine. If you plug in an x and you get out two answers, or if you plug in an x and you get out three answers, that's no good. That means this is not a function. Okay? So I'll give you guys a quick example, and one that's really going to help us kind of get through functions in general. What if I said that the rule was we want to take the square root of x? Well, if we think about it, so I'm going to plug in 9 for x. I say, hey, what's the square root of 9? Well, technically, if you guys think about it, there are two answers to that. There is 3, and there is -3, right? So in order for this to be a function, we can only take one of those answers. So we can't have two different answers for this problem. So what that looks like on a graph, essentially, is that you'll have an x value with two y values. So I'll do this one as an example. Say I plug in 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and I get two answers. I got +3, and I got -3. Well, that's no good, right? That's no good. And one of the easiest ways we can tell from a graph that's no good is that we can do what's called the vertical line test. And that is if I draw a vertical line, now if you guys forgot, a vertical line goes straight up and down. If I draw a vertical line at any point on an xy coordinate, and if it goes through two or more points, even if it only happens once, that is not a function, okay? So this is something that's not a function. So let's go over a few examples of what that looks like. So say I gave you guys a, how do I do this? So say I gave you guys something like a circle. So our most common example you're going to see. Is a circle a function? No, because if there's points on this, in fact there's infinite number of points. If I draw a vertical line, it will go through 2 points, right? So no good, not a function. What about some of the ones we looked at earlier this year? What if I drew a line like this? Well, that's okay, because if I draw vertical lines anywhere on here, at no point does it go through 2 points, right? So everything's okay. So this is a function. So that's okay. What if I had something like this, like a parabola, which is one of the shapes we're going to be looking at in the future? This is okay, right? Even though it looks like it's getting steeper and steeper and steeper, at no point do I go through 2 points? Even if I go right here on the edge, right? If I go right here where it looks like it's getting real steep, if you notice, it is going out that way. You see a little nub kind of poking out over here. But if I took that graph and I kind of flipped it, I don't know if can I flip it? It's gotta be. If I flip it kind of this way, that's no good, right? In that case, this fails the vertical line test, so this is no good. This is not a function, okay? So pretty straightforward, as long as you don't see that. Now, the only other thing we really need to talk about today is you'll get things that are kind of broken up. So what if I told you this? I said, is this a function? Well, no, because if I draw a vertical line here, really thick vertical line apparently, it passes through 2 points. So that's no good. So whenever you have overlap like that, the new piece of notation we're going to see is something that looks like this. So this one goes up to -1, and this one goes on. So in order to, this one goes up to -1, right here, -1. This one goes from -1 onward. So we're not really sure like whether there's any overlap there or not. What they will do is they will put open and closed circles there to show you. So they'll do something like this. They'll put an open circle here, okay, and I'll put a closed circle here. What that means is that this is an answer. That, in other words, when I plug in -1, this is what I get. This means it is everything up to this point, but not including this point. So this is okay. This passes the vertical line test. What this means is that essentially when we draw the vertical line through here, even though this is not actually a point, it's everything up to this point, but not including this point. So this is okay. This passes the vertical line test. If we go ahead and we fill in that circle, though, now it fails. Okay, now it's a fail. Now it is not a function. Okay? Sorry. I broke it. This is not a function. Okay? So that's the only thing you really have to look out for today is that this new thing with the open circles and the closed circles. Okay, so if it's not a function, again, I'll show you guys one more. If I said, something like this. Okay, if I said something like this, I'm going to put an open circle there, an open circle there, an open circle there, and an open circle there. I said, hey, is this a function? Yes, this is a function. Because again, if I do my vertical line test, no, it's good, 1 point, 1 point. Here, there's actually no answer, right? These are both open circles, and then 1, 1, 1, 1. So this is okay. What if I do this? Well, that's still okay because here I only have one answer, right? I have this one's an answer, this one's not an answer. If I fill in this one, is that okay? Sure, right? Because now everything still has one answer. As soon as I do this, in other words, you see 2 closed circles in a row, no good, not a function. Okay? Even though it happens here or not here, still not a function. All it has to do is happen once. So now this is no longer a function. All right? So I'm going to give you guys some work to do on IXL. Get it done. I'll talk to you guys later.